G'day everyone, welcome to Deck Tech, where we look at the decks, break them down and give you an insight into the whys and hows of how they're played and the other questions that you're looking for. Today we're joined by Shamal Singh, straight from the New Zealand Road to Nationals, where he came 8th with the Ninja deck. So let's take a look at the deck that he made. All right, welcome everyone. Today we're lucky enough to have Shamal Singh on the line, and Shamal is fresh from the New Zealand Road to Nationals. So Shamal,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you came top 8 in the New Zealand Road to Nationals.
Yes, I did.
That you went, like, overall, like, do you think that was a good play?
For me, it was a very good placing because I hadn't played in about 5 months. I originally played Wraith, and that was fun. And then, the whole COVID came out when Arc just came out. And I couldn't get to any stores to play any games. And then suddenly everything cleared up, and I had a week to qualify.
Right, okay. So I'll go through a few questions first, which are on my mind and most likely on other people's minds before we get into the deck. What was your toughest matchup for the weekend, do you think?
It is equally Dash and Brute. They're about as hard as each other.
And
I can make Warrior is not that hard for me. I mean, Warrior is a good deck, but I have learnt how to block properly over the past week.
wow,
And
Twinning Blade and everything that's added to the deck. That's
yeah,
interesting to hear.
like I can explain the Warrior. Like a lot of the ninja decks that I've seen people do, they over commit defense reactions, in my view. Like, I mean, if you look at this, well, this is my older deck, so if you look at it, I think that some people, if they're using the exact same deck, they'll be like, okay, I need the 2 unmovable, the 3 face scene, the 3 sink belows, and the 3 reinforced lines. And that's like 12 cards for defense reactions. And when I was playing Warrior, I only put in 2 faithful scene, 2 sink below, and 2 reinforced line, because that's all I need. Because I want to race the Warrior decks. I want them to use cards to block me so they have less, so they can't go let's say Dawnblade, give it a go again, then give it +3 to 7 extra attack. Then that becomes dangerous.
Wow.
And if you're sitting back with all those defense reactions, they can do it, and then they're still going to get damage through. And I'll just sit there and go, if that was just like a leg tap, head jab, or even one of the other pieces, I could just get some free damage on, and they're most likely going to throw 1 card down, and 1 card down is always good for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow, can't wait to get into the deck, but I'll go through a few more of these questions. Your strongest matchup, what's it against?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it was Runeblade. I think what strongest one was,
Oh,
because I don't. It's just like a warrior deck with rune chants, and when I was playing against him, I only have what is it? I have 1 rustic relic and 1 null boots. That is my only arcane defense. I will go full aggro on them, and I've seen some of my scores when one of my opponents went. Actually, I have. Oh no, I can't find it, but I'm pretty sure he put me from 33 down to 17 in 1 turn Room Blade, and I still
wow.
won. Yeah. Because he held back and he's just like, I want to do all this. I was like, oh, that's a lot of magic damage, like arcane damage. I can't block it. And then on my turn, I still had the nuts hand, and with even more in the arsenal, so I was able to fight back. And then all of a sudden, he had to start blocking all my stuff. So he's suddenly creating 1 or 2 rune chants per turn, and that's not doing any damage. And I'm just like, oh well. You attack me with your sword, yeah, I'll just throw any of my 3 defenses down. I take the 1 or 2 arcane damage, sure. His turn, he's always taking 1. He's always taking 2 from he's taking 2 from Kadachis. Then the actual cards start dropping down, and he has to decide what to block with.
Right, okay. And if you were to say the weakest matchup, like the matchup that if you saw it hit the, you're like, oh no, not again. What would?
Dash, dash, dash.
Yeah, I've heard quite a bit about that. I haven't really come up much against it, but yeah. What
Uh,
lost draw for the whole event?
oh, which one? This one or Nationals?
This one. We'll go with this one as the one that we're talking about today with this deck.
With this one, I didn't lose at all with this one until top 8.
Wow, fantastic. All right. So, all right. Yeah, well, one last question before we get into the deck is why Ninja?
Always a ninja. Oh, the 4 chose Ninja and Wraith, and I've just stuck with it. I mean, I looked at the other ones. I'm just like, I've seen people go, yeah, I'm dropping this hero for this hero because it looks better. So I'm just like, I like Ninja. I cannot lie. Ninjas are cool. So I've just stuck with Ninja for all 3 sets so far.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. All right, well, let's get into the deck because I'm still scratching my head over a lot of your choices, but what,
Yep.
whatever you did, you made it work, and I'm really
Mm.
find out more about
All
it.
right.
All the people that are going to be watching this are also keen to see it. So I've got
Yep.
Matsu up here.
Yep.
Kadash's. Nothing more needs to be said. Those two
Mhm.
per round is pretty good.
Yep.
You went with. Oh, now bear with me one moment. This is all out of place around. Um, all right. I don't know what's happened with the cards, but I've got head jab first up. I'll get that back on the screen. But tell us a bit about the head jab.
The head jab line, it's just there as a backup. It's just easy damage. You go head is it head jab? Yeah, you go head jab. Because normally you always go Kadachi, threaten with the head jab. As for the mask and the draw, then normally people will just be like, I must block it. No, always throwing one card down, and then you just throw a open the center and it's 7 damage. That's it. Yeah, 7. It's a 6. No, yeah, 6 damage. My mind is a little off.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, no.
it's just yeah, 6 damage, dominate, and go again. And they sit there like,
All right, I'm just going to reset this. I don't think it really picked up everything. Bear with me. All right, I think we're back up and running again. I'll just get back onto. No, it's doing the same thing. All right, you had Mask and Momentum in there as well, and Fiendel's Spring Tunic. Now, why Fiendel's rather than like a vest or anything like that?
um, alright, because this deck will always it will always have some long games. Like, it's not, I haven't actually seen it when very fast or go very fast because everyone's blocking over here. So the tunic's always great, and because most expensive thing in the deck is 2, which is 2 open the center, and everything else costs 1 or 0. And so having that tunic is just a added bonus. So every third turn, you can sit there, and even if you have a line of red and 1 yellow, you can be like, "Oh, sweet! I can do everything I need, even if I don't have a blue." And the tunic just gives you that little bonus that you need.
So
That's
Breaking
right.
Skulls is pretty much the only real hand things for Ninja. Have you found
Yeah.
anything else?
Actually, I did for my Wellington version. I changed my deck completely, and I was using Goliath Glove.
Ooh, and how'd you find that though? That's like for two cost items, yeah?
Yeah. Um, the deck was quite changed for my nationals run. There was flying kicks, command and conquers, drone of brutality. Those were added into it, and no one basically knows what to do if they see. Oh, there was like 2 pummels as well, just for an extra surprise. And so you'll sit there for the Goliath Gauntlet, and you'll just start your turn, and you're just like, got one of the 2 drop cards in hand. I can go on really hard. So you break it, and your opponents don't even know why it's there. So they break it, Kodachi, something small, and then suddenly it's just flying kick for 9, command and conquer for 8, drone brutality for 8. And if you got a pummel in your graveyard, you're just sitting there grinning on the inside because you're just waiting for your opponent to be like, "Oh yeah, I don't mind blocking a little extra 4 damage. Just got 2 cards." It's like the little one trick pony in the deck. It will do that once or twice, and people will be aware of it, and then it confuses them. Like some players I was facing, they saw it once, and they were just surprised. And then every time I'll do something, they would think, "Oh yeah, he's gonna go like this," and they go, "Oh wait, no, he plays those strange 2 drops now." And they're going to come in for big if I'm not careful. So it changed the way they thought. So
It's
I could sit there.
fantastic that you are able to change decks between events. A lot of the people find something that they like and they try and perfect it with like one or two cards. You're talking
Yeah.
about taking out half the cards out of a deck and changing the whole strategy.
Yep. The problem is that this deck worked. I liked it. It was all right. But as I was going through the I think this is for most of New Zealand players. A lot of New Zealand players know how to stop this type of ninja. Like it's like ninja's just been everywhere in this type of aggro ninja. So everyone now knows how to like the majority of people will know how to stop it over here because they've faced enough of them over the last since the beginning of Wraith. And now they're all like, okay, we actually know how to stop this. So I had to try to work around it because I was down nationals. Everyone down there, I expect them to be on like a level above because everyone's going to bring their best game on. So I want to bring something slightly different, something I've been working on in my own time, and be like, yep, all right, let's see how this goes.
Sounds like a fantastic meta to
Mm,
get better at. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
I did fix up the cards. I had to just renumber them differently. So we passed the Carmenized Kadash, the Master Momentum, Fiendal's
yep,
Tunic. Not much more needs to be said. Now, Snapdragon Scalers, you went over
yep.
them. Is that due to the consistency to get the go again? Over
Yeah, for this one, you can hold, you can hold, you can just hold off, and you can use it on some of the other cards that don't have combo and go again, like what was it? Enlighten Strike, Salt the Wound, yeah, mainly those two cards. Yeah, Scar for Scar, like all those ones, you can just play around them. And cause you can just go and try to. It's just a bit of a mind game for your opponent because you just go Kodachi, Kodachi. Let's say Kodachi, Kodachi, and then you go something, and then Scar, and then most of the time people just like, nah, he's just going to end his turn. And they'll be like, oh, he's going to end his turn. You'll be like, I can actually get 3 more cards out of this, and then you just break it, and you just go drop something ancestral, and then do a few more things. And from the draw card, you might get anything from there that you can just do, and then just add on to the end, and then you've got a 5-2-7 chain off in one turn.
Yeah, I've been scratching my head over the boots myself and
Yeah. Um.
scalers.
They're both good. It's just depending on how your deck is made. Like, if your deck is the older version of this deck ran more of head the head jab line, so it had Fluster Fist and Pounding Gale. And at that, if I was still running those in this deck, I would have swapped the Snapdragon Scalers for the Breeze Sandals.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on to the next ones. You got the Nullroan boots in there just for any of the arcane damage. Did you use them throughout the weekend?
I used the boots. I did use the boots a few times. It was decent. It was a nice thing against Runeblade, and it did. I don't know how to describe it. It really didn't make that much difference against Wizard because we're both trying to race each other.
Yeah, no, Wizard does have that issue with the life.
Yeah.
Needs to get things done quick. Now,
Yeah.
you talked about the head jab. It wasn't your main line of stuff, but it was in there to cause some problems.
Yep.
Most likely you're using the blue head jab for energy when you're correct?
Yep.
And then we go into leg tap. Tell me about the whole chain. That's your main chain.
Yep. This actually started way back in Wraith. If you were playing back in Wraith, you would see every single ninja deck that was out there. They're all going head tap. They have a little bit of head tap in there, but they're all doing the Whelming Gust Wave combo. I actually started playing with the Whelming Gust Wave combo, and after a week or two, I said, this is very, very boring to play as a ninja. There's got to be something more thing. And someone in the store was like, I wonder how the kick was got there. Yeah, the kick combo works. And this was a day before it was a big tournament inside Card Merchant. I've forgotten what it was called, but I did top 8 with a very, very basic kick deck. And then from there, I was just wondering, I was like, is this actually that powerful? And so I always thought to myself, yeah, it's a very good deck. It only needs 2 resources to go off, leaving you to do other things.
Okay. Yeah, I must admit I'm a Lord of Wind player myself, and I haven't really given the leg tap the attention that it deserves, but I have been starting to include it in various decks recently.
Yeah. I mean red leg tap, 1 resource, 4 damage. Then red knee is 3 to 5 and cost 0. It's a lot of damage for a ninja.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
Yeah.
then I see that you put 3 of the blackout kicks and only 2 of the hurricane techniques in.
Yep. It's because blackout kick is you never really want to draw a blackout kick at the wrong time. Like opening hands, early game, you're just like, oh god, the blackout kick. You don't really want to do anything with it because you need the other 2, and you can't combo with it. So I have less of those, and then the hurricane techniques because there's 9 rising knees in the deck and 6 leg taps. So
Something like that,
yeah.
yes.
So I can be like if I'm able to get like any leg tap or even just do the cheap, I'm going to rising knee you, make it go again, and I have blackout kick in my arsenal or something, just for some extra damage. And the problem is that I can use the hurricane technique later on in the game if I've used all my blackout kicks. And also hurricane technique is great because it does let you go back to a hand if it hits.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
why the blue leg tap? Is it just because you're balancing energy resources?
That blue leg tap is not very good because low damage, it costs 1. It's just a fact it costs 1. Yeah, and if you have it in your hand, you can't do much with it. It's just like, all right, I got 3 reds and a leg tap. Oh no, you can't get my Kodachis out.
Is that
Then you have
something
to
that
put
you would change?
the leg taps.
The
I mean,
blue leg tap, would you change
there's-
that out?
I mean, there's 1 blue leg tap feels fine. I mean, I got 3. Excuse me. I got 3 yellows and 3 reds.
Right. Okay. You did have, yeah, you do have the yellows and the reds in there. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was in there by itself. I was like,
No.
what's going on? Now, you threw a soul bead strike in there. Can you tell me about
Oh.
that blue one?
Pure mind game. That is it. It's just a mind game thing. It's just that is all. It costs 0. It drops for 3. It can also block for 3. Is it 3? Or is it 2? I got remember.
No, it's a 3 block, yeah.
Yeah. So it does a lot of things very well. And a lot of your opponents, like the better opponents who actually stare at your discard pile and try to memorize your thing, they will see it and be like, he dropped the soul bleed. Does that mean he's got to have the rest of the combo in the deck somewhere? And so a lot of people, they'll just keep that in the back of their head and they'll try to memorize it. And as you know, your deck gets smaller and smaller and smaller. They think to themselves, it's just like, oh, no. I assume they're like, huh, I haven't seen that line yet. Surely it's got to be coming up. And then they're trying to play around that while you're doing other things. So it's pure mind game. That is it.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you had 1 in the deck. I just looked and
Yeah, it's just 1.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love the mind games aspect of it.
Yeah.
Did you do the same for Salt the Wound, or was this something useful for you as well?
I was testing Salt the Wound in this one. Like it's
Right?
the majority of the time it's just 4 damage. It's just 0 to cast 4 damage at the end. Yeah, more or less at the time. Because most of the time you'll just sit there and be like, all right, Kodachi, it hit. Kodachi, it hit. Because no one blocks Kodachis unless they feel threatened by it or if the
Yeah, they usually want to block with equipment for the Kadash.
yeah, and if their equipment's gone or they don't bother with it because they're like, 40 life, it's like 1 damage at this point between 40 and 20. They normally don't care. So it's always Kodachi 1, threaten with something red, leg tap, head jab, or even just an enlighten strike with go again.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like you're hitting with 2 Kadashis,
Yeah.
or blue head
Yeah.
jab out. Now that's 3 attacks, and this gets +3 on the attack. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And most of the time, though, and a lot of players, they'll always block the 3rd attack because they're just like, a lot of them don't want the ninja drawing extra cards. So if it doesn't go your way and you're like trying to gamble that they won't block and they block and your hand's like, I can just set this up for another turn. You just go like Salt the Wound, 4 damage, and they'll just go, they'll probably drop something with 3 defense to block it.
Yeah, no, very good. All right, we'll move on. So I like them. Enlighten Strike, do we really need to talk about it? It's just
No,
a card.
everyone knows it's a great card. It either starts midway with go again, or you just end an attack 7 and your opponent just goes, at least 2 cards gone.
Yeah, the fact that it's got all those choices is just crazy. We'll move on to the next one. Scar for a Scar.
Yeah, one of the best cards for a ninja because I take I normally take more damage than I block. I should. I mean, yeah. So I sat there and like, there's big ones. I'm just sitting there. It's like, I'll take you for 5. I'm like, it's fine. I'll take you for 5. I'm on 30. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time I sit down and this is just me playing, but I always end up taking a lot of damage when I should be blocking.
Yeah.
So the scar's always just useful to have.
Yeah, no, I found that myself. And Snatch, you've already talked about it. You'll play that, the Snapdragon Scalers.
Snapdragon Scalers or a Razor Reflex. I mean, everyone sees it, and they're always just like, and everyone. I guarantee you, anyone sees someone play Snatch with a ninja play Snatch, they'll be like, "Oh, he's got resource left. 90% sure that he's gonna have a Razor Reflex. I must block this."
Yeah.
And they're like, "I must block it." That always like every time I play Snatch, like every time I play it, I always see people overblocking it because they don't want me drawing that card.
Well, with the chance that you've got a go again happening with it and you're drawing another card, even with Mask on the table,
Yeah, especially if you put it on the third, then people look at it really hard and they're like, 2 cards, he doesn't have go again, and then they see the scalers, they're like, oh no. And they will always block for 7 at that point. Because they're like, I mean, if they don't block for 7, there's a high chance that they're gonna give their opponent 2 cards and they're gonna take some damage for it.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. All right. Now, an interesting one, Wounding Blow. You put a blue Wounding Blow in there. Tell me about that.
Oh, I've been using that card since Wraith, just because it's 0 to cast and gives me 3 resources.
Yeah.
That was one of those cards in Wraith which I had to use because there wasn't enough blue. And I'd just still keep it in the deck because it's just a nice nice pitching card.
Yeah, no, I like it. It was quite surprising to me when I saw it. I'm like, people.
It also blocks for 3, which is good. This is another good thing.
No, I agree. Fully agree.
Yeah.
Just surprised to see it, which was good. Ancestral Empowerment, really nothing more needs to be said about that. We're getting into the attack reactions.
Yeah.
Press, I guess it's great pitch value and great for getting the extra +1.
Yep.
And your Razor Reflexes you've talked about. Don't really need to talk about Sink Below, Fate for Scene. And for the blue Flick Flack.
Yep, there's only one reason. Oh, there's 2 reasons. Because if I face a ninja player, I'll always block their second Kadash with it, which means if I need to block something afterwards, I can use any combo card and it gets the extra +2 defense. So it'll be a 4 or 5 block. But there's also I can use it against the dash players. You can just throw it out to stop their pistol.
Oh, right.
And it's not really a waste. And if you draw it and you don't need it, you can always pitch it because it costs 0.
Yeah, and allows the Kadashis to go.
Yeah.
No, very good. Unmovable, you use them mostly just for the brute players, did you?
I don't use it against brute. I use it against only guardian.
Okay, yep.
The brute players, I use the other this faithful scenes and sink belows. I don't mind taking some damage from brute. I mean, I expect to take damage. It's just I want to minimize damage for brute, but the unmovable is just for guardian, and you're using it against. You're trying to play it around their spinal crush, and that's it.
Those cards are so debilitating. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
Like a lot of people see me and they're like, "You didn't use your unmovable on the crippling crush." I'm just like, "No, I didn't really mind. I just took the 11 damage and discarded 2." And they're just like, "Why did you do that?" I'm just like, it's because the spinal crush is more dangerous. What can I do? I take 11. It's all right. I'm on 29. And then next turn I can play this. I can drop a blue, Kadachi, and then drop a red. And then that's basically it. Or Kadachi, flying, run. Oh no, flying kick was the other one. But Kadachi, something else. And then I can end my turn. And then they go for the spinal because then they try to go for spinal. Then I'll block it.
Wow, that's pretty good insight into a different way of playing it. That's what I think we need to see, and that's why I do a lot of these videos. Just trying to get discussion going. Now, tell me, how did you use your Art of War? Because I'm myself having ups and downs with this card.
I agree with you. I'm having a lot of. If they come at the wrong time. I've seen them come at the wrong time, and I'm just, like the bad times. Seeing 2 on your opening hand, and you're like, why? Well, I need 2 of these, or you draw, or even if you draw 2 of them anytime, you just sit there like, Christ. These are bad times I have them. Like drawing them 1 at a time, it's all right. Never want them in your opening hand. But every time I use them, I've always used the first and the last ability. So it's always my card gets +1 attack, +1 defense, and then I go, I'll banish them and I'll banish an action and draw 2.
Yes.
Those are the 2 I always use. I've never used the other 2 ones. That's the your card next card gets go again, and you can play stuff from your defense actions from your arsenal.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It's look when I have this in my hand and like you can't even throw it for the Kadashes unless
No,
you put in a 0 first and
yeah,
to have
it
a
costs
note on the
you,
center.
it costs 1, which is the problem. If it costs 0, I can understand what. No, let me phrase it. If I can understand why it doesn't cost 0. If it cost 0, it would be everywhere.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go on to the other cards. Right, Rusted Relic you've talked about already.
Yep.
Do you use it much?
I actually never got to use it against any of the arcane people. In one game I had it in my arsenal against not ninja, a wizard. And then when I got to play it, I never used it after that because I just didn't need to. It was just always too much. I wanted to keep all my cards in hand.
So, how did you end up using it? Do you use it after a go again, or do you actually give up a whole turn just to get?
I use it after a go again. Most of the time, against wizard, it's actually harder because, as you can see, there's one prayer, one relic, and one null boots for the arcane defense. And against wizard, it's just really hard to get out sometimes because you hold it in your hand. And I've even pitched it sometimes because you're just like, I'm just gonna race the wizard. So I'm always trying to throw my entire hand out at them before they try to zap me to death.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So I found the relic. It's better for Arc Knight than against wizard.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, you're racing that wizard.
Yeah.
So it's the same with the Rinya's Prayer. Like I looked at this card after I saw it in your deck, and it's not bad. Definitely a card that you'd be putting in.
Yeah.
Maybe Runeblade and maybe Wizard.
It's all right. It's not bad. It stops some damage. I still haven't had good things about it because normally it just goes, oh, I have it, and then every time it's like I have it, and I always go, there you go, block 5, and then
Yeah.
that's it. I'm just like, I feel like I could change that for something else. Like maybe I could drop it for the gloves, or either the gloves or the chest, the null room gloves, null room chest for the wizard
Right.
matchup.
Yep.
Because I've noticed that the decks, if you ever played a wizard, the games are fast, and the really good wizards they're always trying to zap you for free.
Yeah, very much so. And no, this card, if it was for free, I would be like, yeah, but it costs 1, which is such
Yeah.
a killer
Yeah.
in this deck.
Yeah, and even if it'll always block between 4. It'll always prevent between 4 and 6 damage, but it's only once, and if it's in your hand. And sometimes you see it in your hand, and you got like sometimes you see it in your hand, and you got a nice combo lineup, and then you realize it's your Katsu. You're like, oh, I need a 0 drop card, and the only obsolete card in your hand is the prayer, and it costs 1, so you can't even drop off a Katsu. So you sit there and you're like, oh, what am I going to do with this? So you end up using 2 cards to do something, arsenal the prayer.
Yeah, no, that's the worst, having to throw out 2 cards just to give you Kadash's go again.
Oh.
There's one card in here. Did you just put this in for Ninja? Snag.
Oh, actually, no, I was trying to experiment with the deck because when I was doing the deck, I misread Snag completely. I misread that it only affected action cards. I thought it was also equipment. So my mind was like, oh yes, not only this is great for a ninja mirror, I can use this to stop the Guardian's Towering Titan. That's what I thought.
Yep.
It's like I could stop the Towering Titan? No. And I could stop Warrior popping up this sword? No, that's also wrong. And I was like, oh yeah, I can try to stop. I can effectively stop the barraging breakdown of the brute player. Then I found out, no, you have to play it while the barragings are on before they do anything else. So then they'll just go, oh, my massacre doesn't. Oh, whatever. My massacre or other action card won't get the damage. I'll just use my hammer.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
I misread it too, and I thought it was the bee's knees when I first read it.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Mm.
Oh, reinforce the line. How did you find this very effective throughout your games?
That card, it's like one of my view, it's one of the best cards against a brute player. Like any brute player, like anything that intimidates you, it is great because Okay, I've never actually. Don't think if anyone's had this situation where they go, all right, the brute player has intimidated. Well, they intimidate. They intimidated that blue card you need for unmovable, and then you got an unmovable and 2 reds in hand, and they're coming in big, and you're like, okay, I can't actually cast my unmovable, and the other 2 cards are like, and the other 2 cards on you, let's say they block. Both of them were like the reds, they block 2. Then all of a sudden, you got like something's coming in as 3 barraging breakdowns with a just any brute attack, and that's a lot of damage, and you can't do anything without unmovable now because they got lucky and killed your intimidate your blue. Whereas if it's a reinforced align, you can go 2, 4, defense reaction, additional +5.
Yeah. No, good points. Like I just faced Brute yesterday and I got smacked, and exactly what you said, they intimidated a card out of my hand that didn't actually pay for it anymore.
Yeah. It's like the reinforced align just mitigates how bad an intimidate could be. It's like you have a reinforced align in your hand, they intimidate the reinforced align, you're like, oh well, I'll use it next turn. And then you still got your other hand.
Yeah, good points. All right. Energy potion. How often did you get to play this?
I only played it once. And that was because my hand, I blocked a lot for 1 turn, and then all the left with my turn was, excuse me, I wounding blow and energy potion. That was it. So I just, Kadachi, energy potion. But having that energy potion on the side is just really handy sometimes, because especially if you draw the 4 red hand as a ninja, and no ninja likes that 4 red hand. I always like to see at least 1 blue. Then you sit there and you're like, hey, this 4 red blue hand isn't bad anymore. I can drop the 0 drop to get my Kadachis online. Then I can use the energy potions to play the rest of my hand out if I need to.
All right, no, that's good. What I find amazing is that you're actually experimenting with cards in a major tournament.
Yep.
Unheard of.
No.
Crazy. Could you?
It's because I just ran. Okay, as I said at the beginning, I did not play from Arcane Rising till about 2 weeks ago. So I've had just other things to do, and then now everything's clearing up. I'll be able to play again, and then I've have 2 sets to catch up with, and then Arcane Crucible brought out 2 new lines for Ninja. I'm just like, okay, let's see what works, what doesn't work. And then for like 2 weeks playing in every single Armory event, I was just like, okay, I know how these lines work, how these new heroes work. Now I need to get around to making a deck that is going to be good against everything, or hopefully good against everything, and that is actually going to be a excuse me, a good deck to work on for the future. And unfortunately, I've just run out of time because it's just like, okay, I topped 8 with this deck. I'm like, yeah, this deck is good. Then I was testing my Blitz deck, and my Blitz deck was it was an Ira deck, and then it was just using Goliath Gauntlet with a bunch of 2s. So you can sit there and like flying kick. It's like, oh look, flying kick for 7. Nah, it's flying kick for 9 now. Everyone just like, it's like you sit there and you're just like, And I was sitting there testing this Blitz deck out, and I went, can I do this on a constructed level? And so I tried it, and so I went to nationals with that type of deck.
Yeah, wow. No, that's great. It's really good, and that's why I wanted this interview, like just to get you on to talk about the deck. I think it really is fantastic. Not seeing the same decks out all the time, because I'm trying to push that as well.
Yeah, it's something I'd like to do.
Away from the Lord of Wind. And
that's like something I'd like to do. It's like I want to see more people playing. I don't mind what deck they're playing. It's like, but I don't like it when I see like, let's say it's like everyone's playing. Let's say all the Dash players, they're basically playing the exact same deck, minus 1 or 2 cards. All the Guardian players are playing the exact same deck, minus 1 or 2 cards, etc. I actually want to see someone come out and be like, you know what, I want to try this out. Let's see how it goes. Like I want to see other decks out there.
And if you were to call it, what would be the MVP of the deck? What was the card that you were just happy to see every single game?
I don't think there'll be 1 card. It would always be 2. Like,
all right. And what were they?
If you ever saw the red leg tap and the red knee together and on your draw, and then you're just like, you just sit there and you try not to smile to give your opponent away, and you're just grinning hard on the inside. And then you sit there and you go, okay, what's the next 2 cards? And you think it's fine. And you're just like, all right, from here, I'm going to do some damage.
So 9 damage for 1 cost, and you got to go again. Yeah,
yep.
Very nice. All right. Now that was absolutely awesome. Thank you, Shamal, for
No
taking
problem.
time today. Looking forward to seeing your results in future tournaments, and hopefully
Yep.
one day coming up against you.
Then might see you in January then for the big tournament in Auckland.
Look,
If you heard of it.
if they can release the restrictions down here in Melbourne,
Yeah.
definitely I'm looking at January to actually come up. I didn't actually think there was a tournament up in January, so
Yeah.
I can time it to that.
Like January, we're able to. I heard about it last night. Yeah, last night at the Crazy Brew Pub.
Nice.
We got told that there is going to be an Arcane Rising limited event, like the 10K.
Yep.
It's going to be because Arcane Rising came out at the wrong time.
Yep.
It came out at a bad time. Corona came out. Everyone didn't get to play with the deck. Now we get a chance to have a big event with it and get people and to show people some of the cards from it.
Yeah, I got a few people that want my head down there for saying things against Brute, so
Although I've said bad things about Brute, but this was old Brute, like from welcome to Wraith
exactly.
Brute.
Exactly.
I like the cards there, and it's just like everyone's like talking. It's like rate your heroes. I'm just like, well, Brute's at the last place, and everyone's just like, ooh, that was fast. They're like, what's the other three? I'm just like, Guardian, Ninja, and Warrior. They're all good though. They're like, what's so bad about Brute? I'm just like, there's
Yeah,
just not
no.
enough. Like the cars have just not come out for it, and now they are out. Like just Beast Within and Massacre.
Just giving him some consistency. That's what.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because it's like Brute was. A lot of people said Brute is weak, Brute is not that good, and now Brute's got some more cards. So this is
Yeah, good
why,
to
and
see.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the results of the New Zealand top 8. It
Yeah.
was 2 Warrior, 2 Guardian, 2 Dash, and 2 Brute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can just see where they added some cards, and then the people who were always playing Brute since the beginning, so they know how to Brute, and now they got the new cards. They're just doing well.
Yeah, I think there were 3 Brute. The 3 Brute. The ninja decks were very different. That's what interested me. So Chris took the other ninja deck,
Yep.
and I've got an interview with him on Wednesday. So it's going to be really interesting to compare
Yep.
your decks, and people can watch these videos and take note of it.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your time today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, see you all. Bye. And there we have it, an interview from Shamal Singh, one of our top 8 from New Zealand Road to Nationals. If you do like the content, please subscribe and put something in the comments. Let us know how you found the interview, what we could be doing different, or what you liked. Always good to get some feedback. All right, have a great one, guys. See ya.